I think right now the business is at the healthiest stage it's ever been. The margins, the profit, the revenue that we're bringing in is at its highest yet, which is great. The program in itself, your teachings around the Too Cool framework, the Too Cool close, and just what to do in that process, that was worth to me the whole investment. Like just knowing that was the biggest thing. I cannot believe how easy sales is now becoming. I love that you are doing what we're all doing. It really makes me feel a part of something. Wins chat has been pumping and it's phenomenal just seeing everyone win, and I think inherently and subconsciously that drives others to perform even better too. You are the only option, the best option, the option that I wanted to go through.
Okay, George, we were just chatting off camera, as I always end up doing with people, about how things are going. But firstly, I want to say my side, like I've loved the enjoyment of working with you, the challenge of working with you, with your business, something you're so passionate about, and like you're one of the easiest people to work with. But I wanted to take this time just to chat about how things have been for the last few months. But yeah, first, I guess to kick off, like, how are you feeling? How's the business? Where are things at?
Yeah, that's interesting to hear that I'm one of the calmest, easiest people to work with. I think I always think that I'm a bit of a hard ass. I don't know, a bit naggy.
I love it.
But yeah, I think right now the business is at the healthiest stage it's ever been when scaling. I think it was at a really healthy stage, God, just over 12 months ago. Like the business is 13 months old. So 12 months ago, it was growing, it was scaling. Our first 6 months of growth were rapid. And the prior 6 months before, I guess, just after kind of joining you, prior 6 months were essentially what we were just talking about there, built on shoddy foundations. And we were still growing, but I was doing everything wrong. I was hiring the wrong people. I was spending my time in the wrong places. And to be honest, I was losing the love and the joy for the business. And that was the big reason why I did it in the first place, was because I hated what I was doing in corporate. So I started the business, something I love, and crazy that I was able to monetize it and make more than I ever did in corporate. But now I was in this cycle of, I just felt like all I was doing was working for a paycheck and not necessarily working because I loved what I was doing anymore. So I think, yeah, where the business is at now is a point where the margins, the profit, the revenue that we're bringing in is at its highest yet, which is great. But more importantly for me, this isn't everyone, but for me, I'm the most fulfilled and passionate about the business that I ever have been. I have the most balance and boundary I've ever had before. Probably my average is a 6-hour day. Most weekends I don't do any work. Sunday's a complete off day. Saturdays is dependent on what's coming in. And I just, for someone like myself that is so all or nothing and will just work themselves to the bone and then completely burn out, that's my biggest achievement, is being able to feel in control, but also like still manage a very successful business at the same time. Because that was my limiting belief, is can I not work stupid hours and still be successful?
I love that, mate. And I appreciate you sharing that, because it's very easy for people to stick around revenue numbers and say, oh yeah, I'm making loads of money. But as we even discussed before start of the call, like, we know people, and we've both pretty much been in the situation where you can make money, but you're selling your time and you're burnt out. And it's like, you didn't get into this business game to work 12-hour days, 7-day a week. You want to enjoy the life in Australia and all that sort of thing. What do you think are the things, or what do you think are the important things that have allowed you to see that? And what actual steps have you taken directly yourself to not only make great amount of money, but much more importantly, have the fulfillment and the enjoyment of the business?
Okay, so just to confirm, what allowed me to see that, and what are the steps that I feel like have allowed that? Okay. I think a lot. So I'm just writing down kind of, so I make sure I answer both questions. I think if I answer it in respect to like the time that I've been here as well, I think obviously you played a big part in that, in terms of allowing me to shift that limiting belief that essentially, you know, it's not just about inputs, creating this output. It's how do we maximize the inputs that we're doing? What do we need to outsource? How do we look at crafting the business in a way where we focus on what you enjoy most? And one of the biggest needle movers around that was a big reason why I didn't like where the business was going pre-you was because all I was doing was managing. And I had support coaches for my offer that were doing the delivery. And that was the reason I got into the business doing it in the first place, was because I loved helping people that were in a position that I felt stuck in before. And I hated management. I just felt like all I was doing all day was just kind of telling people off and not necessarily like having input. I'd sign these clients and I would then feel like I was just giving them to someone else. So that didn't sit right with me. And I didn't feel like they were getting the best service either by that, because I'm the face of the brand and I say nothing about any of the support coaches too. So one of the biggest things that I think we did together was understand what I actually truly enjoy most, and that is the client work, that's the delivery. And even if again that means that, hey, maybe it's not as scalable as a business, I'm going to be at my peak in terms of happiness. And for me, I'm at a revenue amount as a month, on a month to month basis, where I don't really need more. Like, I'm so happy with that. And I think it's really happy. I'm really happy to say that I'm not just chasing money, but I'm actually chasing just this optimal level of kind of happiness across these different pillars. The steps to answer that question, it's been a weird roller coaster between you and I think it'd be fair to say.
Sure.
And at the start, it was very rosy, like in terms of, it's like, honeymoon with a girlfriend, everything's
sure.
brand new. The big change for you, man, and to be honest, the program in itself, your teachings around the Too Cool framework, the Too Cool close, and just what to do in that process, that was worth to me the whole investment. Like, just knowing that was the biggest thing. So I think the early on, I started to see success. I started to see like this trust ecosystem in full flow. And I was like, I cannot believe how easy sales is now becoming. Then it got to a weird part where I don't know, I struggled, and I was at this position where I was putting in a lot of effort. I felt like I was doing everything right and nothing was clicking. And I think we were butting heads because I felt like I needed a mentor that was always on, around me, kind of at my beckoning, basically, and there for me because that's what I'm paying them for, basically. And I think you definitely showed me that, like, one, I can't just shift external responsibility to someone else and be like, right, you need to tell me you're not the CEO at the end of the day. You're just someone to advise and consult. But also, two, I think you definitely did shift. Like, you definitely did. And this is what I really respect and appreciate for you, is you have given me something that maybe you don't give to every client, which is just that level of care and value and support that I felt like I needed at that time. Because that's it. That's how someone gets their best out of me, is when they make me feel like I'm cared for and valued and really appreciated. And if that means we jump on a call every so often and I just run you through my business, where it's at, regardless if I have any challenges, that's what I need. Because for me to be in that, hey, you can only speak to me if you have a bottleneck, is so valid. But at the same time, for me, just makes me think of my old boss in corporate, right? So
yeah.
Once we kind of got to that point where we were on the same page, and we have been on the same page the last, I'd say, 2 months, the business has been just going like that. And I'm just so happy with our relationship, for one, the community and what Free Thinkers is right now as a whole, but to where I'm at personally in my personal life as well as business life as well.
I'm so happy about that, mate. And I think it's so nice to have that, because I think anyone who films these testimonials or chats their clients and says life is going to be perfect the whole time is just selling a dream, which isn't true, because otherwise everyone would have amazing businesses and it would be super easy to serve people. But the credit to you is that I've learned a lot about how to work with different types of people, and it's been really fun getting that perspective across. We've both learned equal amounts about the best way to have a relationship with that, and I've been so happy with my progress as well as with your progress. So credit to you as well for also doing that. And I love people who say, this is what I want, and we can work around that. So that's been cool as well. So yeah, a big thanks my side as well, because it's been like a great development curve for me, and I always think I need to be developing at a rapid pace as well as everyone else that I work with. So that's awesome. What you touched on so many cool things during that, like, well, aside from like Rocky butting heads patch, like talking pre that, which I think is so interesting, because I think someone listening might be, okay, you said life was good, two call close, trust ecosystem. That was, I think, one of the reasons you joined. But the first question I'd love to know is, what was the actual, like, what position were you in where you were like, it's time to make an investment, it's time to go forward?
Yeah, I had no idea what I needed to do to scale, and I'd been very successful in scaling. I don't know if that was beginner's. No, it's not beginner's luck, but for some reason or another, hey, I was just good. I don't know. But the business did take off. You know, we were doing some crazy numbers. The past mentor that I was with, I was the poster boy. I still am. He still uses me as marketing, even though I don't work with him anymore. And my transformation was just something that no one expected, even myself. You know, I kind of achieved over a 12-month period what I expected to do over a few years. The cost of that, though, was I had no idea what I was doing, and I knew that deep down, and I know that I didn't need another mentor who was gonna kind of help me in a respect of scaling. How can I word this? I don't know. I didn't know what I was needing at the time, and I know I needed someone that would just take a deep dive in my business and actually kind of break it down to understand who I was targeting and why I was targeting that specific person. So I think one of the biggest exercises that really helped me at the start was that ICP exercise, and just truly understanding why I was targeting this one specific person and getting really clear on that, because I was getting an influx of individuals that were with me for different reasons, because I was spreading my content across various different forms, and I didn't know who truly I was attracting. I didn't know who I wanted to work with either. So yes, the money was there, the revenue was coming in, but I was working with so many different individuals, some of which I didn't like, some of which I didn't or did not like, but like, as in, didn't love the fact that they weren't my true kind of avatar. And I didn't feel like I was confident in helping them too. Because they, again, weren't the type of person that I typically would help. So it was just that real clarity that helped, I think, in the start. And yeah, I think it was the fact that I know I'm just rambling at this point, but the fact that I'd kind of scaled so quickly that, yeah, everything was just built on shoddy foundations. And in my eyes, it was a matter of time until everything collapsed. And that's why I needed to jump ship, because like we'd had chats before. We spoke a few months prior. And it was, you know, just the continual realization that month on month for about 3 or 4 months that nothing was getting better. That it was getting worse. That I was like, right, you know, it's now or never kind of vibe.
Yeah. I love it. And credit to you for making the jump, because I think a lot of people realize that month on month and then do nothing about it. So yeah, cool. And then joining, really interesting what you say about the ICP, because it feels like such theoretical work, but I think it probably was a big contributor to where you are now on being so dialed in on that person. Because you told me the other day that you've had multiple people now join who you're like, bang on the person that we originally laid out 4 or 5 months ago.
It's perfect. It's phenomenal. Like it was staggering, the last call that I was on, just how I have a list of my top 10 ICP problems. He hit 8 of those, and I was just like, how? Like, it was phenomenal. Everything he said, I was just like, wait, there's no way. But again, that's testament to the content, and just, again, the direction that you've given in terms of, you know, truly it is who you call out. It funnels back. Who you're speaking to on the phone is dictated by how you are in your DMs, dictated by how you are in your content. So it's just that broader understanding of the ecosystem, in a sense, that was really eye-opening for me.
Awesome. I mean, and then credit to you for every time I've said something, just going and doing it. Why do you think you came in with that? Because that's one of the things that's really stuck out for me is like you just jump on a call and you ask me 5 or 6 questions, you write all the answers down, and then you just go and like you just go and do it. And I love that so much because it's not about convincing you to do things. It's just about telling you, okay, these are the dial movers now. Why do you think you came in with that attitude, or what has helped you be that person that is very easy to jump on a call with and execute?
Short answer, I trust and respect you. I really see you as an authority. I've had many conversations with Morgan about this. That I just really rate you. I think you're a very, very intelligent guy. I think you're not a fake guru. I think what you say has legs, a lot of legs. And I know this doesn't directly answer your question, but I love that you are doing what we're all doing at the same time, just at that level above, basically. And then it's all real time. Again, I don't want to shit on my past mentor. He was amazing and he still is. But for where I'm at now, he's not the person. And what he didn't necessarily have that you do is doing the thing in real time. And that's where it's tricky because you're getting advice from someone that is using historical data, not current data.
Fascinating. No, that's interesting. I actually have never had that like spelled out to be in such a clear way. So I appreciate that a lot. And it's fun. Yeah, it's fun. We're all testing together and having fun together, which I think is so cool. What do you think are some of, you mentioned the community, and that's actually something that, again, I have to give you credit for, is like everyone who I interact with, well, a lot of people I interact with are like, oh yeah, I just got off a call with George, or I just mentioned George, like, or George sent me a nice message. How has the community and the people around you, or like what made you engage so much with the community?
I think just the more you can kind of bring each other up, the better. It's only going to have a positive return on investment. And people will, I don't think you should give and expect return, but 9 times out of 10, when you give, someone inherently gives back to you. A good example of this is Paddy. He literally just phoned me up 45 minutes ago, so just before we jumped on. He was like, mate, this is a dude, you know, for the audience watching, 400K on Instagram. My biggest bottleneck at the moment is reach, views. So that's his strength. And he just gave me a ring out of the blue. Hey, I've got this idea for content. You should implement this. And I was like, I cannot believe I've just done that. And that's all because when he first joined, I was giving him advice when it came to sales, pricing points, because we share a similar niche. So yeah, it's not necessarily giving with expectations in return, but it's just like, I've always been someone that networks because that's just what I enjoy doing at the same time. And it's, yeah, I think it really makes me feel a part of something as well. Like we all are individual silo business owners. We're all entrepreneurs. It can be a very lonely journey. So why not engage? Because that makes everyone feel great. You know, the wins chat has been pumping these last kind of 4 weeks, 8 weeks even. And it's phenomenal just seeing everyone win. And I think inherently and subconsciously that drives others to perform even better too.
I love it. And as you say, like you celebrate, you clap for other people and they end up clapping for you. And it's cool to see that with, like, I see that with you and Paddy. Obviously it was so like, as soon as he joined, I was like, George is the man, and credit to you for not sticking to your own thing and saying, okay, you know, like we're in different business positions. And it's so cool that you've had that. Like it literally, I had shivers when you said that, because it's cool for me to help and I get fulfillment from that. But to hear that there's a space where other people are helping other people, I think is just as important. And I know you guys will get on really well. I look forward to you guys meeting up in person. And it's yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool. Mate, thanks again for this. I guess the last question I always ask is at the end is just saying, look, if someone is watching this, is on the fence about whether they pull the trigger, what would you say to them?
Yeah, it's something that I felt like you were going to ask. So it was something that I've had to think about too. So I think I've got the main thing that I would say is and this person has to know that you are the right person in my eyes. So this is completely my opinion, because this is the reason that I did it. Is I'm quite logical. Like, I looked at it in a sense of like, this is the investment and this is potentially what I'm going to get out of it. There was very little emotion in it, basically. And I think I was aware that it was a large investment. It was more than I've ever invested in myself before. And
Sure.
there's the reality that it could go wrong, right? But it could also go right. But I had to ask myself the question of, or two questions. Do I trust this person? Do I respect this person? Do I think they're not full of crap and they can get me to where I want to be? But also separately to that, what is my other option? And at the time, you were the only option, the best option, the option that I wanted to go through. And again, in a B2B kind of environment, it is a case where regardless of how big the investment is, you will make it back up very quickly. And that's been shown by myself, a lot of the guys in here too. Ethan, for example, just shared that win himself. And, you know, if you, whether it's someone or myself talking to myself before I made the investment, you know, if it's just the investment side holding you back, just know that you know, again, with the lessons you'll learn in here, you'll very quickly make it back up. So don't let that be the reason that you don't take the plunge.
I appreciate that. It's very kind of you, my friend. And I very much hope this is not the only testimonial we're going to film. I know we can keep it further. But yeah, thanks again for everything. It's been a ride, been so fun, like genuinely so fun. I'm not just saying that because the camera's here. Like, I will say that to you off camera. It has been so fun. And long may it continue.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, man.
Awesome. Thank you, buddy. Let's stop that recording. But yeah, very kind words, and couldn't echo